Hello again my friends, this is Boy News Dog and welcome to the channel where I talk about, play, rank and review games on the Evercade old and new. In today's episode we are ranking all the games on the Thalamus collection and giving my overall final opinion on each game and the cart as a whole. With 11 games there's a lot to get through, so we better get stuck in. Number 11. And yes, at number 11th and in last place, and for once it's not just because I prefer the other games more, I actually genuinely dislike this one. Yes, it's Summer Camp, a platform game developed by John D. Ferrari and released for the Commodore 64 in 1990. The Summer Camp flag has gone missing, and with only 24 hours before the opening ceremony, Maximus Mouse will find a replacement or get the blame himself. I was actually a bit annoyed I had to play it again to quickly get footage for this ranking. It's just fiddly, annoying and no fun at all to play, for me. It's annoying on whichever system is your choice, to be fair, so at least the annoyance is all encompassing. Number 10. At number 10 is Heatseeker, developed by Paul O'Malley and released on the Commodore 64 in 1990. The Trifloss of Nem, 3 mysterious and magical plants, hold in the lifeblood, the entire race memory and psychic heritage of the people of Tantris, but pollution and acid rain have caused these valuable flowers to close their petals, dooming Tantris to oblivion. But there is hope. The Gnostics have constructed the Leg, an acid-resistant heat probe designed to enter the most polluted areas to absorb the heat of the Zeal smog flames and deliver that heat to the Trifloss of Nem. Did you get all that? Probably more weird than it needs to be. I like the madness of it all to begin with, but it's overly fiddly for fiddly's sake. I like the visuals, the idea seems groovy, but just found it annoying in the end. Normally I can get quite into odd games, but the more I played this, the more annoyed I got. I will be giving this one a rest for quite some time. Number 9. And at number 9, and probably not a shock in the least bit, it's Winter Camp. Developed by John D. Ferrari and released for the Commodore 64 in 1992. Maximus Mouse is back, oh yay for me. This time is working as a rescue ranger at the winter resort camp Nice and Icy. We join our hero as he is completing his training and preparing to set off on an urgent mission to prevent an avalanche. Now there is actually some fun here. I much prefer the variety and just better gameplay from the Summer Camp edition. But another one, I doubt I'll pick up again anytime soon, not with the remaining great games on this cart. And yes, there are some great ones coming up, we just had to get through these past few first. Number 8. And at number 8 is Nobby the Aardvark. Developed by Genesis Software and released in 1993, also notable for being the last game Thalamus published for the Commodore 64. Now, I found this so much easier to play on the Alpha, interestingly. Yes, I'm talking about the jumping and the timing. Quite the fun romp on there, it gave me real CJ vibes. I was a bit obsessed with CJ in the USA on the Amiga back in the day for some reason, so this warmed that cockle. But going back to the VS to record footage, and it felt just like I couldn't jump properly anymore. If I was only ranking these games for the alpha, this would be higher, but as most will be playing on EXP, Super Pocket or VS, I have to take that into account. And it is a bit of a bitch to control, making jump timing a far more frustrating experience. So I've had to knock it down a couple of numbers. Number 7. And at number 7 is Snare, developed by Rob Stevens and released for the Commodore 64 in 1989. The Snare is a 20-level maze built into a temporal cavity by billionaire Andre Feldman. 10 years ago, Feldman entered his creation with his most prized possession and bloody died. The hunt for the mysterious treasure has become the hottest game show on Earth, as contender after contender dies trying to track the maze's secrets. And now it's your turn. Now this is a great concept and I love the story setup, but the screen instantaneously switching instead of rotation for obvious technical reasons just got to me. Brain and eyes too much. It felt very disorientating, though your eyes do get used to it during a session, but every time I came back to it I had the same issue all over again. Like the computer, my old eyes say no. But pushing past that, it's quite the deep interesting game. You'll need a lot of patience, maybe some headache tablets and a constant use of save states to stop the madness setting in. Good luck. Number 6. And in 6th place is Hawkeye, developed by the Boys Without Brains and released for the Commodore 64 in 1988. As a half-man, half-robot synthetic lifeform codenamed Hawkeye, you seek revenge on behalf of the Axon people, sorry about pronunciation, against the Sky Axis. To that end, you must break through 12 secure sectors by collecting puzzle pieces and blasting anything that stands in your path. This game was perfectly fine for me, interesting ideas, enemy design and selection of weapons. I enjoyed it. There's nothing particularly wrong with the game, but with so many greater titles on the collection, this one kind of gets lost in the mix. Which can be the way sometimes, can't it? A perfectly good game is sitting right there, bits amongst damn addictive ones you'll automatically choose instead. So it waits patiently for you to go, oh yeah, and then end up having a fun blast of it. Yeah, it's definitely one of those games. Number 5. And we finally reached the top 5, and in 5th place is Creatures, developed by Apex Computer Productions and released in 1990. Clyde Radcliffe, the fuzzy wuzzy, was just woken with the world's worst hangover and breath so bad it can literally ignite vegetation. What's worse, all his fellow fuzzy wuzzies have been captured by demons and placed in diabolical torture chambers. Fun but tricky as feck platformer. Strong on trial and error, which I kinda dig, but do remember to quick save when you get through a section well. You'll thank yourself later, or it can become a frustrating affair. The creatures are a bit more bullet spongy than they need to be, making a session drag on a little longer than I would like, but overall I do dig this, so it had to make the top 5. Number 4. And in 4th place is Armalite Competition Edition. I think I pronounced that right. Developed by Cyberdyne Systems and released on the Commodore 64 in 1988. Blast your way through a series of challenging stages as you fight back against the Hefsian Kane? I don't know. This looks and plays bloody lovely on the alpha. Smooth gameplay with interesting erratic movements from the enemies, so make sure to keep on your toes. There's really not much more to say sadly for a game so high up on the list, except it's a lot of fun if you like your horizontal shooters. And I really like my horizontal shooters. number 3. And we finally reached the top 3, and in third place is Retrograde, developed by Apex Computer Productions and Transmission Software and released for the Commodore 64 in 1989. 7 planets in the Thwok system have been conquered, and your home planet, Chom, is next. It's your job to battle through their conquered planets and destroy the alien nerve centers. For me, this is best played on the Alpha. I love the shop and weapon system in this game. You have a certain amount of points you can assign weapons to, meaning there is flexibility and different ways you can attach this. I would say as soon as you get 100 credits, get your first add-on, and then the second 100, get your second add-on, before you start thinking of a bigger grind, as the more weapon points attached earlier, the easier it gets. Because it's all a bit mental from the off, if I'm honest. Once you're powered up to the nines, then you've grabbed a planet buster, prime it in the shop for 500 smackers, then choose a door to delve down deep into the planet, then do it all again if there's another door. Just great, fast-paced fun, addictive as all hell, with a wonderful upgrade system. I adore, I adore, I adore. Number 2. And in second place, I'd like to say there wasn't much in it, but there was. I really liked first place. But in second place is Creatures 2 Torture Trouble, developed by Apex Computer Productions and released on the Commodore 64 in 1992. Clyde Radcliffe, the Fuzzy Wuzzy, must once again rescue his family from the evil demons out for revenge. Fantastically, it rips out the rock-hard platform sections and lets you jump straight to the good stuff, the torture rooms, interspaced with interludes not unlike a Game & Watch game, and demons boss battles, even a scuba section to whisk to the next island. A great game to play on all systems, wonderful puzzle screens to work through, trial and error. Once you've learnt a screen, it's much easier to get through a second time. Save states are your friend, a deliciously devilish cheeky game that I'll always come back to again and again. Number 1. But of course my number 1 spot goes to, and there wasn't even a competition for me, I fell for this incredibly hard, incredibly quickly. It's Hunter Moons Remastered, developed by Martin Walker, originally released in 1987, but this version is expanded and was re-released in 2018. I don't know if this is a surprise or not, I just loved everything about this game, from the wonderful animated intro sequence, setting the scene whilst giving Blade Runner vibes, which always win me over, to wonderfully addictive way you progress through the game. You have connected nodes you jump to reach each level, which tasks you with blasting through a simple arena type area in space, collecting a preset number of star cells. Once you have the amount, it's on to the next. Once you've beaten each node on a map, you walk to a Lincoln bonus area where everything seems to be coming at you and you've got to shoot it all in time before moving on to a new map area. Each map area has a unique configuration of nodes and each node has a unique area to explore. There's always something new to see and the areas can be quick to finish and very fast to get back to if you fail, which for me negates any frustrations. And it plays gloriously on the Alpha. It may take a moment to get the hang of the controls as you really have to push in a given direction to move from standing still, but give it a try. It's really saying a total tasty treat whichever Evercade system you're playing on. I may be on my own with this one, I don't know, but I don't care. I adore it so. And my final thoughts on the car as a whole, I think it's definitely worth anyone's time. We have a decent enough variety. Some might not be into the C64 era of games, they have a kind of look, don't they? I myself went the SimClass Specky route at the time. I'm still hoping Blaze, I know you think no one wants Spectrum. Did the new Spectrum Mini sell well? I don't know. Is that a good indicator? I don't know, but still, as a machine that shows the history of video games, it couldn't hurt to squeeze one or two Ickle collections in there could it? Just to represent, you know what I'm saying? But back to this C64 cart, yeah, there's a few games you could easily bypass, and I don't think you'd be missing out. But failing to get this cart means you do miss out on Retrograde, Hunter's Moon and Creatures 2, which doesn't bear thinking about. Okay, I have a bias for shoot-em-ups, but both Hunter's Moon and Retrograde have quite unique touches that I think are worthy of anyone and anyone's time. And it's funny to see the creatures turn into jam in Creatures 2. Yeah, I said it. So in the end, yeah, I'd buy it. Oh yeah, I have. It's another great addition to the still ridiculously growing Evercade library, and one of those carts that works well in whatever system you're using, be it the Super Port Kit, EXP, Alpha or VS. For old eyes, the pocket as usual may be a little tiny, but if I can do it and I'm a blind old bugger, I think you can too. And if you've made it here to the end of the episode, thanks ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or comment if you'd like, but even if not, I'm still chuffed your picture in for a goosey gander. Join me in the next episode where I think I'm excitedly ranking the games in the Toyplan Arcade Collection 3, or I'm reviewing Soul Reaver, or it's my first look at December's game of the month, which one pops up or is finished first. Does this mean I'll have to stop playing Toyplan 3 soon and move on? Sad face. And until next time, be seeing you.